Probably better just to take questions on this one.
Okay. Councilwoman,
I have a question. I have a couple questions. I have lots of questions.
we'll take two.
I thought when we voted prior, it was just 2 towing vendors.
Yeah.
That's one question. The other question was that I thought it was maybe finalized that it was a 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. Is that what this 3-year is? Because it was a 3-year, 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 and then when the veto thing came through, it was a 1 year, 1 year, 1 year.
Mr. Chairman, if you recall, the original motion that was brought forward was not approved. There was a second motion that was approved that was later vetoed, so there was nothing really brought forward. This is just a new motion.
The veto
And-
wiped out everything.
Yeah, and so based on, after some discussion, based on the dialogue we heard, we felt that it made sense to have a primary contractor brought forward with secondary contractors. Our theory is it's better to have them, not need them, than need them and not have them. And the 3-year takes us to the end of the term of our term, so we felt comfortable if there was an issue, we could bring it back to this board for adjustment, so.
And it's a 3-year and no
That's correct.
extension.
Okay, I have a question on, a couple of questions also, on the fee schedule. So if there's something, a service that they perform that's not listed on this fee schedule, does that mean they cannot charge for it?
Correct, it's not allowed. It's specified in the contract.
I
And
think,
then-
Mr. Chairman, if I could, I think based on our benchmark, most of the fees are built into this. If there is an abnormality, I think there is something in there that gives the police chief to authorize that to occur.
The other question I had is how, I didn't, if I missed it in here, forgive me, but how is the secondary gonna work? Is that gonna be whoever the officer on duty that's dealing with the issue, it's gonna be up to them to call, or is the police, whoever is the highest ranking person on duty, are they gonna decide when they need to use a secondary, or how is that gonna work?
Most of the responsibility of that will be handled through our dispatch. Of course, there will be a
Okay.
supervisor that's always available, but it's most of that will be handled through the dispatch themselves.
Councilman Randall?
Just a quick one. In reference to the RFP, when we send it back as a contract, it should be written as a contract. Has any of the thing that was in the RFP into the new contract, has any of that been changed that was inside the RFP originally?
I'm not sure I understand. Could you ask again?
Basically, when we got the RFP, okay, and then we basically requested it went back and be made into a contract. Did any of those figures change?
Oh, the fee schedule?
Yes.
No, none of those. And I believe Gus drafted the contract based on the RFP. I think the integrity of the entire RFP has been rolled into this proposed contract. Correct, Gus?
That's correct.
Councilman Johnson?
So has all 3 towing vendors received this contract? And do they have to sign it before or after it's approved?
We've discussed this item, and there are a number of provisions that are in this contract that are in front of you where we would have to check in with these contracts to make sure they're in compliance. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but
Chief, if I could interrupt, I think what you're asking, Councilman, is no, we have not asked them to sign anything because it's a contract now and it requires this board's
Okay.
approval
That's what I wanted.
before it can go back to them for
Wanted
execution.
to make sure.
Yeah.
then that will take us a little while, once we are told who we can use, to go and do our site visits and again correct some of these issues that we know they're not in compliance with right now.
Okay.
So you're saying that if we, excuse me, if we okay this, you guys can go back in and change the wording of this RFP? Or
No, I'm sorry,
Okay,
Councilman, I didn't
just-
mean
okay.
that. There's some items in here that we either know they're not in compliance with right now,
Okay.
or there are ones that at the time we did our site visits originally, they weren't in compliance with.
Okay. Councilman Johnson?
And then that's all 3 towing contractors would have to tweak something.
Yeah, absolutely. That's, yeah, that's fair.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilman?
Underneath the subcontracting, it says the contractor may not subcontract services without your prior acknowledgement. As a subcontractor, being that we have 3, or would have 3, wouldn't they go with one of those other ones as the I mean,
Most
you could
likely.
take the first one and say they're gonna go out and get somebody else as a subcontractor, when you got these 2 other companies that run it, correct?
We would agree with that, yes. I would, that's why the idea behind having multiple contractors. Again, to have them and not need them is a good
Mr. Chairman.
Mayor Fowler.
I just want to elaborate a little bit on this without getting too deep into the details. I think this is more designed because towing companies have multiple sister companies, if you will. What is being evaluated is what has been part of their application process. So what we don't expect is if there's a sister company and they're not one of the approved vendors, that we would see them necessarily in the city of Taylor towing, doing police tows, because they probably haven't gone through the background check. They haven't gone through that process. So I think the intent of that is to guard against that from occurring.
Because one of them does have a sister that I know.
I would be willing to bet they all do.
They all,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean,
They
it's
wouldn't be able
common.
to use those, they would have just these three right here.
Exactly.
For example, some of the towers don't have the capability to do
Heavy duty.
tractor
Right,
trailer
right,
tows.
right.
So, Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, but how would that work if dispatch got a call for a semi-trailer on Telegraph Road?
Yeah,
right
turned
road
over on
with
its side,
primary-
let's say that, let's say
Right.
it's laying on its side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
laying on its side. Would that go to the primary contractor, and then he would reach out to one of these other two towers, one of these other two secondary towers who has that capability?
Absolutely, that would be our preference of how of doing this. I mean, we want to get people out for what they're best at, and again, to have control over those contractors is very important to us.
So the first contractor would contact the other contractor?
Well, yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, we would know what the situation was, but until you have actually someone out there to know what the problem is, it's one thing when we receive a call that something is over on its side, it's another for us to get out there and assess that situation. But, yeah, at that point, once they're out there, yeah, we could obviously just go ahead and contact that contractor, and we know they can handle that tow.
Councilman Johnson.
Well, I think the question was, so we got a tractor trailer turned over.
Okay.
We're not relying on the primary contractor to contact these other companies.
Wasting time.
So you guys are doing
We would, yes, we're going to work in concert with all of them.
Yeah, I know, that was completely opposite.
Yes, okay.
But, let me just, in the contract, the way it reads is that if dispatch, Chief Blair, correct me if I'm wrong, if dispatch calls the primary contractor, and the primary contractor says, I can't do that, the primary contractor may contact the secondary contractor that's already approved, that has that capability, but the primary contractor's does not have the ability to make any money on that. He just refers it out. He's not going to be charging a 20% spit, if you will, on referring that out to another
If that main contractor is talking to the dispatcher and they say, I can't do it, then don't you think the dispatcher should contact that one that can?
I'll leave that to the chief.
I mean, whatever's the easiest process, to be honest with you, Councilwoman, that shouldn't take us really long to make that decision, whether it comes from the original or the dispatcher.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're kind of looking at it theoretical right now, but a lot of cases, you would already have officers on the
Yes.
scene
Well, that's what
by
I'm
then.
thinking too.
You know, they would be assisting in that evaluation and how to move
See a
forward.
contractor making a decision on something else.
Councilman Wood.
Yeah, I'm just, reading over this contract, there's a couple things that I'm not necessarily in favor of. Number one, when I look through here, most of it is the police chief will make this decision, the police chief along with city council, this and that. However, on the termination of this agreement, it's just the mayor. I'm not a big fan of that. The other thing was, there's this part C here on the liability. It says excess liability umbrella may be required. The risk management committee will determine whether that is required and forward its recommendations to the city council for approval. So at this point, we don't know if, they have the insurance they need.
Each tower will have the required limits
Right.
that are set forth in there. If risk management determines that there are limits that we need to exceed those limits, then we will request that, and they will have to provide that to us. The other provision, the next section there, Mr. Woolley, is that this is really just an agreement with the tow company to provide this service. At no time will the city of Taylor be at risk or be at any peril for any liability
Right.
associated with those tows, and
Right.
that's set forth in this agreement where they can't, they can't come after us, and if there's a third party comes after us, they do have to indemnify and hold us harmless.